Hi, it's Kerry Shearer, your social media, web video, and emergency communications trainer. And thanks for joining me here as I bring you face-to-face with commendable communicators. And I think you're really going to like this episode. I hope you've been having a great week. It's been a busy time, really, the past couple of weeks for me. I was over in the San Francisco Bay Area this past week doing some training. And then the previous week, I got the opportunity to go back to Georgia. Actually, the Georgia Department of Public Health was doing an all-day social media training. I was a part of that in Macon, Georgia. And it was a great panel. We had a number of really good speakers. And I wanted to bring one of them to you on video in this week's episode. It's Bethany McDaniel, and Bethany is the web content and social media manager for Georgia.gov. Georgia.gov is really a huge website. There's so many different facets to it, and Bethany and her team, of course, are trying to get all of that content wrangled and juggled and make sure everything's coming out the way they want it. So it's quite the operation. So I had a chance to sit down with Bethany, and I covered a couple of topics with her that I thought would be really, really helpful to you as you work on your own social media efforts. One is dealing with negativity. Now, we've all seen it. We post something and we get a lot of good comments, but also there's kind of the negative Nellies that get in there and they post some pretty disparaging content. How do you deal with that? I think Bethany's got some great tips. The other thing we covered is finding your voice. It's very easy to get a social media site going and just spit stuff out there. Here's our latest news release. Here's this information. Here's that information. But the fact is, you can go beyond that and you can really develop a voice and figure out how do we want to portray our organization? How do we come across on social media and on the web? There's a way to do that, and Bethany shares, I think, some really good tips. So let's go ahead right now and get into my interview with Bethany McDaniel, the web content and social media manager for Georgia.gov Interactive.
We wear many hats, everyone in the government does, but one of my main jobs is running the social media for Georgia.gov. We have a Facebook and a Twitter and a blog, so I am in charge of all three of those. I kind of fell into it. I originally got hired just to do content on Georgia.gov. I was originally hired just to ensure that all the content was good to go. We had our Facebook and our Twitter that someone else was running, but she had many other jobs too. I mean, everyone in government has 500 jobs. And so I kind of started helping her out. So we kind of tag teamed it just because there was a need, and so I stepped in and helped out. She eventually got another job, so I came in and I took over the social media. And so I added that on to my responsibilities with the content on Georgia.gov, and it just, I kind of fell in love with it. And it's now my little baby that yells a lot. It takes dedication, it takes a lot of work, and it does take time, but it's worth it. You just have to be, with anything, you have to set aside a specific amount of time each day or each week to focus on social media, because it's a little baby that you have to kind of care and nurture all the way through. My team builds websites for state agencies, and we also do the state of Georgia's website, Georgia.gov. And so we use our social media to figure out what people are talking about, what people are asking, what questions people have about the government. And so that way we can put it on our website to help people get answers to those questions. But in turn, that kind of allows people to review our service as a government. And that leads to a lot of negativity. That's a very polite way to say that people yell at us a lot about the government. And so we deal with that. I could look at it as people just yelling at me all day, but I choose to look at it as an opportunity. Someone is letting me know their problem, and so it's an opportunity for me to help them fix it, to help find a solution to their problem. So a lot of times what I've learned is that a lot of complaints are just questions in disguises. So when people come to me complaining or people come to me yelling something negative, it's just because they don't understand something. They're frustrated with how the government works, with how certain processes are. They don't understand it. So by coming to me, I'm an outlet to kind of help them find a solution to their problem. So we kind of transform their negativity into something useful. I also eat a lot of chocolate. That helps me deal with a lot of the negativity. It's difficult. It is difficult when people are yelling at you all day. It's hard not to just feel down on yourself. So I feel like it's the only way to really deal with the negativity and to not gorge myself in chocolate is by looking at it in a positive sense, looking at it as a way that we can actually help people. I won't say that we welcome comment or negativity, but we definitely view it as a way to hear what people are saying. If someone's having a hard time getting their driver's license, maybe we don't have the information out there in a way that they understand to help them understand how to get a driver's license. So then we can take that as an opportunity to change the way our information is displayed. It's difficult, I will grant you that, but it's not, I feel like it's very useful to have an opportunity for people to be there. That's the whole point of social media, is to be there for your constituents. You're there to be transparent. You're there to be kind of a customer service for your constituents, and so we use that to help out the constituents of Georgia. I've been doing this for a few years now, and I realized that I was following the same steps, that I was doing the same thing over and over again without really realizing it. So I decided to put it into a formula. So if I'm ever out of the office, then whoever is taking over, running the social media, they kind of understand how to respond. Sympathy plus action plus appreciation, and then outside of the parentheses, so what you're factoring into all three of these factors is humanization. So you're humanizing your response throughout the entire message. And so the end product is utilizing negativity. So to summarize, it's humanization factored into sympathy plus action plus appreciation equaling utilizing negativity. So the first one is sympathy. At the beginning of every response, I like to let the constituent know that I understand what's going on. I understand that they're having a hard time, that they are frustrated. I'm letting them know that, yeah, that sucks. That's not something that anyone likes to do, because we all understand how confusing instructions can be. We all understand how annoying filling out forms is. We all understand how frustrating lines can be. We get that. So we are able to sympathize with our constituents, let them know, yeah, that's not fun. Let me listen to you. It's very important to listen. So then once we've listened, then once we've let them know that we understand what they're dealing with, then we can move on to an action. So that's the second part of the equation, action. I always like to give them some sort of direction, something that they can do to help resolve their issue, whether that's giving them a link or giving them an email address or giving them a phone number, something that they can physically do, something they can look at to help resolve their issue. So we have our sympathy, we have our action, and then I always like to end with appreciation. So I like to thank the constituent for coming to me, which is very difficult. It's really hard to thank someone for yelling at me. It's not an easy thing to do. But I try to find solace in the fact that they've decided to come to me. They have taken that first step to come and receive help. And so I like to thank them for that. At the end, I like to say, thank you for reaching out to us. I hope your problem is resolved, or something along that. So that's the bulk of the equation, the sympathy plus action plus appreciation. Then within the equation, you need to make sure that you're sounding human. Your whole response needs to sound human. You don't want to sound like a government robot, which is very easy for us to do in the government, because we just get in this mindset to just be formal and be professional, which I feel like is important, but social media is a very human thing. It's a human beast. And so we need to be human, whether that's using contractions, whether that's using the first person, or having just showing that you're human, being transparent. That's a big term in government these days. Showing that there is a human back here behind this Facebook account writing back to you. For about a year, we had a woman a woman who came to us with a lot of problems. She had had something happen to her, and so she was very angry. And so just all the time on Facebook, she posted a comment on a lot of our statuses for a whole year. I feel like I know this person because we just communicated so much. But she was just very angry. So at first I would respond with sympathy and I'd say, oh, I'm so sorry for your problems. And then I would add the action. Here's what you can do to fix it. Here's what you can do to help with your issue. Here's how we can find a solution. But nothing worked. Nothing was what she wanted. So then the snowstorms hit in 2014, last year. We had 2 big snowstorms in Atlanta, or in the southeast. And this person just had a field day. She went crazy with the negativity. She posted on almost every status that I published, and they weren't always necessarily bad, but they had that negative aspect to them, that negative tone to them. So one day, I had posted a status about the offices being closed. So she responded that everyone should just stay home and ride 4-wheelers with their kids, which that's not anything mean. It's just, she's just being her. And so I responded back to her and I said something about ice is very dangerous no matter what vehicle you're in. So even on 4-wheelers, that's dangerous. We recommend not doing that. And so she responded back, and normally I wouldn't respond back because I did my due diligence. I gave her some information. I was informative and friendly, but I don't know what I was thinking, but I responded back to her. She had said something about they don't have ice, they just have snow. So I responded back and I said, so glad that you don't have ice. We don't have snow yet either in Atlanta. The capital is still just wet and cold. So I have that friendly, that human aspect to it. And then I slide in the action, the information. I told her, now be careful because snow can turn into ice. So make sure that you're staying safe. And then I ended on more human, just a humanizing tone to it. And I said, if you have pretty pictures of where you are in Georgia, feel free to send them to us. We would love to see how beautiful the snow is. And so she responded back, sure, I'll send you some pictures later tonight. And that was it. I later posted something, I shared a status from another agency, and she commented on it, like always, but she didn't say anything bad. She said, yeah, it's not safe. Offices are closed here too. And that was it. And I haven't received a single negative comment from this woman since then. It's been like a year this month, and I still haven't gotten anything mean from her. Obviously, correlation does not equal causation. We can never fully know what happened with her, but I choose to believe the fact that I was actually human. I mean, I've been talking to this woman for a year now, and nothing that I said, no action that I gave her actually helped. But the fact that I was real with her, the fact that I treated her like a human rather than a problem, I feel like that really helped her understand that sometimes being negative doesn't accomplish what you want. And so maybe that's why she stopped coming. It's one of my favorite stories just because it does end so happily. Finding the voice of your agency is a little difficult, but it's something that you need to determine. So for Georgia.gov, our voice is to be friendly and informative. So we want to help people, but in a friendly manner. We want people to be able to approach us. So we're friendly and informative. Our tone changes depending on what platform we're talking through. So on Twitter, our tone is more informative with a little bit of friendly. So Twitter is very to the point, it's very hard news. So we're very informative, but we're still friendly, just a little bit of friendly. Whereas on Facebook, Facebook's the exact opposite. Our tone is really friendly with a little bit of informative. So we use a lot of pictures, we use a lot of exclamation points. We say y'all because we're in Georgia. And it's very friendly, but still with our informative. So we're still having the same voice, our tone just varies a little bit. So that's something that you and your team, or your agency and your team, need to sit down and realize, what voice do you want to have? How do you want to interact with your constituents? On social media, we try to interact like a human would. So we use contractions, we use a lax AP style, we use colloquial terms. We still want to be respected, so we still use proper grammar. So there's that formal aspect of it. We don't say YOLO, we don't say FOMO, we don't say LMFAO, but we try to sound like a human might sound. So using feeling through our words, so let the constituent know that we're here for them. We're not scary. I really like helping people, and I feel like the government is a great place to help people. On social media, that's a great platform, a great medium for us to reach out to our constituents and reach out to be there for the people of Georgia.
That's great information from Bethany. I hope it's given you maybe some food for thought on how you deal with negative comments on your social media sites, and then as well finding the voice of your agency and positioning yourself and how you want your agency to come across on Facebook, on Twitter, on your website, maybe your blog if you've got one. By the way, if you want to check out Bethany's blog, just go to the website. It's Georgia.gov, and you will see a choice there to be able to go to the blog page or look at any of the other great content. Now, if you're watching this video on YouTube or anywhere other than my website, head on over to KerryShearer.com. I would love to connect with you and send you out periodic social media tips and tools and techniques. Until next time, thanks for watching.